Welcome to the Restricted Handling Podcast. This is what's been going on in China in the past 24 hours. We're picking up right where we left off. The Taiwan arms deal saga has escalated. Yesterday, we talked about the U.S. formally notifying Congress of that massive $11 billion weapons sale to Taipei. Today, it's official. The State Department's locked it in, and China's threatening forceful measures. The package hasn't changed. HIMARS, howitzers, drones, missile software. But the tone sure has. Beijing's not mincing words anymore, calling the sale a grave provocation and warning it will strengthen combat readiness to defend what it calls its sovereignty. What's interesting here is how synchronized the timing looks. Taiwan gets the green light on weapons, and right on cue, the PLA's newest carrier, the Fujian, sails through the Taiwan Strait again. Yesterday, we mentioned Taipei's assessment that the Fujian was probably headed north for maintenance. Today, the Ministry of Defense confirmed it. They're saying it's likely returning to Shanghai for system calibration after its first major South China Sea trials. No aircraft on deck, no combat loadout. But still, it's the optics that matter. Beijing knows every transit through that strait makes headlines. And this one comes right after Washington's biggest arms sale to Taiwan in decades. Speaking of military flashpoints, Japan's situation with Beijing is still icy. But now there's a new layer. While Tokyo continues protesting last week's radar lock-ons, China's foreign ministry pivoted to criticizing Japan's decision to deploy a new radar unit on Kitadaido Island. Beijing says it's provocative and dangerous, even comparing it to Japan's expansionism before World War II. That's a pretty wild throwback coming from a country that's been building bases on reefs and sailing aircraft carriers past other nations' coastlines. The irony isn't lost on anyone. Meanwhile, the semiconductor story we've been tracking all week, China's so-called Manhattan Project for chips, just got a major update. Yesterday, we said the Shenzhen prototype EUV machine had finally managed to sustain its light source. Today, insiders tell Reuters that the government's targeting 2028 for commercial-grade chip output, but engineers say 2030's more realistic. Either way, they're further along than anyone thought. The machine's crude, sure, it takes up an entire factory floor, but it's working. Huawei's fingerprints are all over it, coordinating everything from optical components to power systems. It's the culmination of 6 years of industrial espionage, talent poaching, and state-backed reverse engineering. If they can make this work, export bans won't matter. It's the tech world's version of going nuclear. On the corporate front, another semiconductor twist. Nexperia's China division has fully decoupled from its Dutch headquarters. We mentioned the brewing power struggle yesterday. Now it's done. The Chinese branch's 2026 production is officially secured through local wafer suppliers. That means even if the Netherlands keeps blocking exports, Beijing's got domestic capacity lined up. It's another brick in the wall of China's push for technological self-sufficiency. Let's shift to the region. Yesterday, we focused on the US and China jockeying for influence across Asia. Well, today, we've got a rare moment of coordination. Both Washington and Beijing are pressing Thailand and Cambodia to reinstate their broken ceasefire. The border fighting there has already killed around 60 people and displaced 500,000. Secretary of State Marco Rubio called Bangkok directly, while China's Wang Yi phoned both sides urging restraint. ASEAN's emergency session in Kuala Lumpur on Monday is shaping up to be the most important regional meeting in years. Even if it's just optics, seeing the US and China trying to calm the same fire is unusual. In the Middle East, Beijing's balancing act is starting to wobble. Remember the story about China cozying up to Gulf states while trying to keep Iran happy? That's blowing up now. After China backed the UAE's claim to 3 disputed islands near the Strait of Hormuz, Tehran's fuming. Iranian officials are accusing Beijing of double standards, saying you can't demand respect for your one China policy and then question Iran's territorial integrity. Iranian hardliners are roasting China in local media, and even conservative parliament members are calling it a betrayal. It's not catastrophic, but it's a crack in a relationship Beijing spent years cultivating as a hedge against Western sanctions. And back in the Pacific, Japan and the Philippines are locking in more U.S.-supported deployments that would have been unthinkable a few years ago. Tokyo now hosts American Typhoon missile systems, capable of hitting China's eastern seaboard, while Manila has started positioning BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles along its western islands. Japan's hypersonic glide vehicle program is ahead of schedule, aiming for live deployment next year. Taken together, this builds a fortified first island chain that Beijing's Navy would have to punch through in any real conflict scenario. It's a chessboard, and China's pieces are suddenly boxed in. Cyber operations haven't slowed down either. Yesterday, we talked about Chinese provincial hacking units running semi-independent ops across regions. Now there's confirmation of a new player on that front. A group security researchers are calling Long-Nosed Goblin. It's a China-aligned team targeting governments in Southeast Asia and Japan using a surprisingly clever trick, deploying espionage malware through Windows Group Policy. That's the same tool IT departments use to push updates to corporate computers. The hackers are exfiltrating files, recording keystrokes, even turning webcams into surveillance nodes, all hidden inside legitimate network traffic routed through services like OneDrive and Google Drive. It's clean, efficient, and very hard to trace. Inside China, the domestic paranoia campaign continues at full volume. The Ministry of State Security just finished a week-long media blitz about protecting state secrets in the digital age. And wouldn't you know it, the latest example was an actual bureaucrat who leaked classified info in a WeChat workgroup. Nearly 100 colleagues saw it and didn't report it, so now they're all being disciplined. It's like a loyalty test disguised as a security drill. The message is clear. In Xi's China, silence is guilt. And speaking of loyalty tests, the purge inside the Chinese military keeps expanding. Yesterday, we mentioned whispers about the Air Force being under investigation. Today, it's confirmed. Xi's ordered an indefinite retrospective probe into every procurement contract the Air Force has signed since 2017. Multiple senior officers have disappeared from public view. Commander Chang Ting-chu and political commissar Guo Puxiao are reportedly being questioned, and their online bios have been scrubbed. Xi's done this before. We've seen him gut the rocket force in the Navy. But this is the first time he's publicly targeted an entire service branch. It's sending shockwaves through the ranks. The phrase being whispered among officers right now, "No one's untouchable." While all this heavy stuff plays out, there's still room for a bit of absurdity. China's Ministry of Public Security is now promoting the Kunming dog, a homegrown wolf-dog hybrid, as the official police breed. They're calling it the first canine with independent intellectual property rights. Think about that. They're patenting dogs now. The state claims it's more versatile than foreign breeds like German Shepherds or Malinois. So if you ever wondered what autarky looks like, it's apparently a police dog that barks in Mandarin. And finally, a quick update on that TikTok saga we covered earlier in the week. ByteDance has officially signed its deal with Oracle, Silver Lake, and MGX to create a US-based joint venture. ByteDance keeps just under 20% ownership, while the American and Emirati investors get the rest. Oracle's getting access to retrain TikTok's recommendation algorithm on US user data. That's supposed to keep the app independent while satisfying Washington's security hawks. The deal closes January 22nd. Trump's taking credit for brokering it, and Beijing's playing along for now, each side pretending it won. Thanks for being a part of the RH community. Subscribe, leave a positive comment or 5-star review, and, most importantly, help build our network by sharing this.